Much like the Transformers movies, you pretty much know what to expect going into these Fast and the Furious movies. And while this one's not as crazy, batshit Looney Tunes as Fast 9, Fast X definitely, takes the realism down to a -2. It's pretty much what it is. It's hot women, ridiculous chase sequences, but at least they got a very good villain in Jason Momoa. I like his Dante character. He's ridiculous. He's basically like the Joker. If I had to describe him, he's just enigmatic. He's wild. He's ridiculous. They pretty much bring back everybody from the previous movies. I like John Cena's character. Dom's brothers returning. I liked even the new guys they brought in. They brought in Alan Richardson, the Jack Reacher guy from the Jack Reacher show, and Brie Larson is actually likable in the limited amount of time she's on the screen as Mr. Nobody's daughter. There's a few surprise cameos in the movie. There's not much else surprises in the movie. You've seen any of the trailers or promotional material, you've pretty much seen the big action set pieces. There's the scene with the giant steel ball rolling down and destroying everything in Rome and it blows up. There's the chase sequence on the bridge where Dom takes out the two helicopters using the nitrous to jump off the bridge. It's pretty much the standard ridiculous Fast and Furious car chase sequences. They do have a traditional race like from part one. They kind of reenact the very first race that the freaking Brian character does with a little twist in it. Basically, the story is Charlize Theron, the Cypher character, the villain from 7, 8, and 9, I believe. She's back. She gets one up by the Jason Momoa character, who's the son of the villain from Fast 5. He's backed by some Illuminati organization or whatever. He basically takes over all her stuff, and basically he's just targeting Dom and all his teammates. He tricks like them and everything, and they get framed for like what happens in Rome. And so the main antagonist, Jason Momoa, Dante, like I said, he's the son from the villain from Fast 5. In the very beginning of the movie, they show his backstory. I liked him a lot. He's got a lot of personality. I think he's doing a slight audition for Lobo in the future. Completely different from his surfer bro act as Aquaman. He's more of a funny sociopath like the Joker, like I said. But yeah, he's having a lot of fun in this movie. You can tell he signed up to be just off the walls. He's getting paid to just enjoy himself. He's popping a couple shots of alcohol and just going off, but every time he's on the screen, it really gets exciting. Anytime Dom's by himself just talking about family, kind of drags on and everything like that. But he's probably one of the better villains of the series. I would say him, both the Shaw brothers. I didn't really like Charlize Theron's like hacker villain, whatever, and they kind of make her like a martial artist in this movie or whatever. But he's definitely in the top 3 for the villains and the antagonist of the Fast and the Furious movies or whatnot. But yeah, liked them a lot. We'll give them credit. They dialed down the ridiculousness of this movie, where in the last movie, Tyrese and Ludacris flew into outer space on the Fiero with the giant Acme rocket on it. And the movie before that, The Rock catches a torpedo from a freaking submarine on the freaking glacier in freaking Russia and like throws it back. And the movie before that, they're jumping, in Dubai through buildings. Like they do a lot of ridiculous stuff in like part 6 and 7 and 8 and 9, but they kind of dialed it back for this one, except for the very end where Dom just some ridiculous bridge jump off of the thing. I love how they can just carry his car from the original one that he races Brian in at the end and like to all these locations. This is ridiculous. But yeah, and there's a couple other like cameos. There's like the sister of the cop girl that he was banging from Fast 5 and 6. She makes appearance in it. And there's some other surprise cameos. But otherwise, if you liked any of the previous movies, you're going to like this one. It pretty much follows the same formula. Are there any deaths in the movie? Yes, there are a couple of actual key deaths, but it's a Fast and the Furious movie. Does anybody really stay dead? They do so many fake out deaths in this thing. It's like comic books. It's like they kill somebody and they bring them back. Whatnot. They killed Han in Tokyo Drift, and they retconned it to where Jason Statham's Shaw character killed him in Fast and the Furious 7 or whatnot, and they still brought him back somehow. So is anybody really dead? They'll probably bring back Gal Gadot somehow, because why not? They can defy the laws of physics and reality in this thing. So yeah, nobody really stays dead. Wouldn't be surprised if they brought back freaking the villain from Hobbs and Shaw too, or whatnot. Just bring him back to freaking team up with them at the end, because everybody eats dinner at the table and with drinks Coronas of his family at the end of it and whatnot. So yeah, there are some deaths though in the movie. They actually do have some stakes. So final verdict, I'm going to give this one a C plus. It's a slightly above average movie. It's a really, really expensive 80s action flick. It's like a Van Damme movie with a $200 million budget, like Time Cop or one of those things. You pretty much know what to expect from all these movies. Vin Diesel is Vin Diesel, talking about family and all that stuff all the time. The rest of the cast, Tyrese, Ludacris, they're the comic relief. Han just kind of sits there and eats food. The British chick is hot. Freaking Jason Statham does what he does. He just beats up the bad guys. That's what he's there for. And the rest of the cast just the new people, Alan Richardson, and freaking, Captain Marvel, they do their job. They're good. Everybody's good in the movie. It's an entertaining film. It's 2 hours and 15 minutes. It's definitely a popcorn flick. It's not going to win any Oscars for script writing or anything like that, or cinematography, and the special effects can be kind of wonky, but like I said, it's a solid movie. It's a solid summer action movie, and you won't regret it. And it's definitely a step up from Fast 9, so definitely a C+ rating. So predictions for the next movie, which is supposed to be the last one. They said they're going to do 2 more, but I don't think the box office on this one is going to quite get high enough to justify 2 more of these things. This thing had like a $300+ million budget. It was ridiculous. I'm going to predict that they're going to use AI and whatever to bring Brian back. They'll bring back Paul Walker's character somehow using special effects, de-aging, CGI, AI, and all that. And they're just going to have one big, like, Avengers Endgame style blowout where they bring back everybody from the previous movies to take on Jason Momoa and the freaking syndicate that he's working for or whatnot. And I think they'll close it out because a lot of these guys are looking their age, to be honest. They're getting too old for this shit, to quote Danny Glover from Lethal Weapon. But yeah, they're going to do one more these things, all up blowout, and then this thing, considering this was just a basic Point Break ripoff with street racing into where it is now, they went from street racing, the car thieves, VCR, DVD thieves, to freaking Super Spy.